Hello friends, and welcome to the Cold War Prepper. This is Lee, and welcome back to the planning your meals in a post-SHTF environment. We've been working on, remember we have a calendar, and it's an annual calendar, so it's basically a spreadsheet. Your columns are going to be the days of the month, and then your rows are going to have the month, and then you're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so you're going to put in a meal number inside each one of those, so that helps you with your planning, so that you can then refer back to your cards. And so here's some of my cards. So for example, my breakfast number 1 is a bacon and cheese breakfast taco. So you just put B1 or put a 1 in for breakfast, and every time you want to do that, and that gives you a purchasing plan on how much you need to buy for that amount of food over whatever time period you want. So if you're just going to do for 3 months, just do January, February, March. Gives you, you can repeat that. I actually have a full year on my spreadsheet. Now, if you take a look at my calendar, these pink ones are basically sayings or something that I've come across that I wanted to share with you. And so this goes all the way back to the 2nd, and because of illness and everything else, I haven't done it. So I'm going to burden you with 2 of those, one at the beginning and one at the end. So the one at the beginning is going to be a Native American saying, and this actually comes from the Navajo, and it says, there are 2 wolves fighting inside all of us. The first one is hatred and evil, and the second one is good and love. And which one wins the fight? The one you feed. So now let's talk about our 3 meals that we're going to be looking at here. The first one is I want to introduce you to something. I'm going to put the recipe link. I'll find one, a good one for you, and put the recipe link down below in the description, but it's called shakshuka. It comes from northern Africa. Americans were first introduced to it primarily in Morocco, but it goes all the way across into Libya, and it has made its way into Egypt and then up along the Mediterranean coast as far as Turkey. So it's a very common breakfast, and basically all you do is in a pan, you're going to put a little bit of oil and butter, you're going to fry some onions, you're going to fry some peppers, bell peppers. They use primarily red bell peppers for this. So you've got onions, bell peppers, and then a whole bunch of tomatoes. And you can use a can of tomato sauce in our post-SHTF environment. And then after they get that all cooked up, they'll kind of swirl in 4 holes in the pan where all the stuff is cooking, and they'll crack an egg, and then they'll do a poached egg or a sunny side up egg in each one of those holes. In a SHTF environment, we're going to do that with freeze-dried eggs or egg powder that we're going to reconstitute. So it's going to basically be a scrambled egg, but you get the idea. This is another one of those common breakfasts that we can do. This is a meatless breakfast, by the way. It's vegetarian, so that might be something you want to consider for your breakfast. Our second meal of the day is, you can't beat these. So we have 12 of these lined up, and there's different flavors. They have beef, chicken, shrimp. I think there's 4 different flavors in the LaChoy line, but you have basically all the vegetables down below. All the protein products are up top to keep the 2 separated. When you get ready to cook it, you mix the 2 together, and you then serve it either over chow mein. LaChoy has their own chow mein noodles, which are dry. I prefer to use those for something else, but how I prefer to cook this is just put it over rice. And that's an entire meal. You got your vegetables, you got your proteins, and then you've got the rice. Serve some sort of a fruit for lunch, for dessert, and you've got a fantastic meal. The third one we're going to do is we call it our tuna salad, but that's probably not a very good name for it. If I were going to market it, we might call it our tuna helper dish. I don't know. But what we do is, of course, we have 1 can of tuna, and then after we get the can of tuna, we're going to put it in a bowl. We're going to boil 1 package of shell macaroni, and I prefer the medium shells, but in an SHTF situation, remember you want to be rather preserve your heat and fuel for your cooking. So remember, the smaller the pasta, the quicker it cooks. So you want to go with the smaller pasta as possible. That's why I have the small shells here, because this is for SHTF. And then once you get those mixed, you're going to mix those in with your tuna. You're going to dice up 1 onion and add that in. You're going to drain and enter in 1 can of sweet peas. And so now you have this concoction of tuna, shells, onions, and sweet peas. Mix it all together. Then you're going to take about 4 tablespoons of Miracle Whip. And I'm not stuck on, we prefer Miracle Whip. You can use mayonnaise if you want to. One of the things I have done is we buy cases of the individual serving mayonnaise and Miracle Whip, and that's those little packets you get as a condiment when you go to a store. So a lot of our condiments are that way because they preserve longer, and you don't have to worry about refrigerating them once you open them. So you might want to do that. But we're going to add in some Miracle Whip to that, stir it all together, and then that becomes our dinner. So you have your protein, you have your starch with the shell macaroni, you have your vegetable with both the onions and the peas. So for this time, what we're going to do for breakfast is called shakshuka. It comes from the Mediterranean, primarily from Morocco, and then it made its way around as far as Turkey. And then we're going to have for meal number 2, whatever that is, lunch or dinner, we'll have the La Choy brand chow mein served over rice. And then the third meal of the day, we're going to have shell macaroni or shell pasta with tuna, onions, peas, and Miracle Whip. So that's kind of what we're going to do. So let's go. I've given you that one, so I can check that one off. So let me see here. This one is Stuart Chase says, and this is regarding religion. He says, to those who believe, no proof is ever necessary. But to those who don't believe, no proof is ever possible. So those are your 2 thoughts for the day. Remember, we're all in this together, so we can come out the other end together. Remember that togetherness is the key. Be kind, respectful, and polite with each other. Take care. Y'all be fantastic. Bye-bye.